All right.
We should be live here in a couple seconds. Of course, it's always a lag
Right, right, right.
when
Yeah,
going with
definitely.
YouTube. So we got a few people waiting. I think this would be exciting because honestly, man, I really started getting big into fitness like 6 months ago. I started
Okay.
working out consistently. Uh, October 17th,
Oh,
consistently like
nice.
lifting weights. Now I've done martial arts for years and kind of have like that type of muscle memory, but never like lifting weights. So being
Ah,
able to
okay.
like get into that aspect, it's a different journey, man. So
Yeah, I
it's
feel
been
you. So,
cool.
real quick, you said martial arts. I have martial arts background as well. What were you practicing and teaching?
So wasn't necessarily teaching, but I did a little Shotokan karate, taekwondo,
Okay.
but I fell in love with jujitsu. Got my blue belt
Ah, yeah, yeah.
too, and haven't been in an academy probably about a year. But
Right.
you still there's some stuff you just don't forget.
For sure. I miss it for sure. Like I taught for about, man, 10 years. So I was in South Carolina. My instructor, JD Olson, came from a background as his instructor, Alex Mordine, and then they were in Japan. So it was in Japan like in 2000, like or late 90s, early 2000, and they created this kind of mixed martial art before mixed martial art was even a thing. It was actually when Hoist Gracie was getting his start. So they actually knew the Gracies when they were trying to get their recognition in Japan. So this is my instructor's instructor. They were there in the military at that time. So then fast forward, I ended up training with him. So what I'm bringing this all around was because that whole idea of mixed martial arts and the original UFC idea of like literally pitting different styles against one another, that was where they got their idea for their dojo. So my martial arts, I had black belt in what they called combative Aikido. So just really Aikido, but it added a little bit striking to it. Then Filipino Eskrima, so stick and knife fighting, if you watch like the
Yeah.
Born Supremacy series. So
Uh-huh.
that part came in. And then Jiu-Jitsu, of course. And then they called the blended style Zembu Jitsu. So it was actually where you'd start with stick and knife, you do disarms with trapping and some Wing Chun, and then go into grappling, then to the ground and do submissions, even submissions with sticks on the ground if you still had yours and stuff like that. So it's time to take that whole fighting concept from weapon range all the way into kicking, striking, grappling, and then jujitsu style. So yeah, I loved it. I was more into the instructing, teaching side, hence why I guess strip coach fits as well. I didn't like getting hit.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of getting hit, so I was just like, nah, man, I'm good.
For sure. So you keep up with any UFC or MMA?
Nah, actually, after I stepped away, so I've been out here in Cambodia now 7 years after that, which is ironic. So I come where some of this stuff would be even more prominent, but I haven't been practicing at all, just pursuing the entrepreneurial side. But like you said, I miss it because it's just a different kind of engagement, man.
It
You know?
is. It is. A lot of camaraderie that comes with it too.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So we got a few people in, not a lot, man. We only got about 10 people watching currently right now. Of course, the playback will be available. And what we're going to be talking about today is Drip Coach and the project that he has put together called Change 360, which puts together fitness, health, and a way of making money right through the way of AI. So looking forward to hearing how all of this is going to be put together. Also, any of the links as well will be down in the description. Drip Coach's YouTube channel, Change 360 website, all of that will be in the description. So before we kind of get going into Change 360 and how it came about, kind of talk to us a little bit about, your journey into crypto and kind of how all of that started.
Yeah. So for me, it started. I guess I heard about it. I think it's around 2008, 2009, but I didn't actually get into it until 2012 in the military is when I actually started to dabble in it. And I was in IT at that time. So being an IT guy and surrounded by other IT people is when we started to actually look at it as what is this? Where can it go? And we were actually mining it on some old repurposed military servers at that time. But those got thrown away, lost to the wayside, forgot about. So definitely not a millionaire, but probably could have been if I had paid attention to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then fast forward, just kind of went off the radar, picked it back up. I think I kept hearing about it basically in the next cycle. So 2016, when it got hype, I think I put some into a wallet that I don't have access to anymore. And then really jumped back into it hardcore, basically in this last cycle when the NFT craze kind of took off, because that's where it really clicked on what it was. Prior to that, it was just basically speculative trading. But once I heard the actual fundamentals of blockchain and what blockchain could do, and NFTs kind of brought that to light, I was like, wait, there's something here that I want to start digging into. And that's when I chased the NFTs down the rabbit hole, chased the DeFi summer down the rabbit hole, and then eventually stumbled into ROI dApps, which led me to the Drip Network, and then actually documented my own journey on that. And that led to kind of the name now and what I focus on within the Drip community.
Cool. And we was talking about backstage, different geographics. Good morning, team from Australia, Daryl Huntingly. So what's up? Appreciate you tuning in. So that's just crazy. We was just talking about the power of content and how it just reaches, everywhere on the earth, wherever you may be, maybe different times, but everyone has a chance to reach this. And so you said things kind of led you into the ROI dApp. What stuck you into Drip though? Because in my opinion, that's kind of where I knew you from, was the Drip community. Even though you made your Cambodia content, which I thought was dope. But what led you to that? And then it felt like you kind of took that knowledge that you learned from that community and just that whole kind of space, and then just moved on from that, which kind of led to Change 360. So kind of talk to us what that whole transition, how did that work?
So I guess I stuck with that because I had just been chasing different things. So you try to get the Discords and Twitter and see what's going to be the next thing up or whatever. And I've never been a big fan of the one and diversify yourself in crypto specifically right now, unless you're already wealthy. So when you're diversifying in degen stuff, to me, you're just diversifying is what I tell my user base, because it's all the same pie. Like everybody that's in there is basically the same people, and especially if it's all on the same network, like Binance Smart Chain or whatever the case may be. So I kept jumping back and forth, trying to be first, because that was the only way you could actually win, was be first. And basically everybody else behind you gets wrecked, you win. Congratulations. I was like, well, that's not cool. I don't like this, especially living out here in Cambodia, because I see basically what the lack of opportunities and stuff has done for people. It's also in the different zip codes in the US as well, but it's just a different level when you go overseas. So I was like, I need to find something I can actually stick with. So I had heard about Drip from Juvier's Gyms, actually, and before it even peaked. He had it on there. I think he even had the AMA with Forex around, what is this now, late 2021. So before the big epic run up in January. So I think I heard about it October timeframe from him, and it was around the less than $50 mark. But I was just like, here's another one. I don't believe it. It's just another up, and I'm gonna lose and get wrecked. So I skipped it and I got into other stuff. And then it came back again around in January. Saw him mention it again, and I kept seeing it on the YouTube. And then that's when Jonathan Seller made his Drip Farm channel and built. So I watched him build his channel from 0 to 10,000 subs in a month, literally in 30 days. And I was like, wait a minute, man, there's something different about this, because, Bitcoin, the crypto OGs had already peaked. And here's this DeFi asset that was gaining a lot of traction in the YouTube side, from a community side. So I was like, let me reevaluate this. And that was also when the Animal Farm was supposed to come out, Manor Farm, all this stuff. So there's a lot of hype. So I was like, you know what? This sounds big. Let me just stick with this one. I'm just going to document this one journey. I'm going to forget everything else. Just go in on this and document the journey. So I was basically just copy pasting Jonathan's model, because I was like, yeah, I like to coach. This is what I do out here and what I teach and stuff like that. So why not start a YouTube channel and start talking about it? And since I decided to do the YouTube channel and document Drip because of the hype, I just got stuck with it, because I had decided I was going to just stick with it at least for a year and document the journey the whole way through. And then, of course, the more you document, the more you learn, the more you interact, and the more down the rabbit hole and solidified you get.
Yeah, well said, man. Well said. So we got a quick question here, and I think it's a great question. What's Drip? Sorry, new to crypto. So without going, too big and down the rabbit hole, basically Drip is a ROI dApp that pays you out 1% a day in its native token. Runs on the BSC chain. Launched back in April of 2021. Coming up on its 2-year. I think the 20th. Is it the 20th? 22nd. So 22nd. So about 9 days from now, it'll be its 2-year anniversary. So it pays out 1% a day. There's a little bit more parameters to it, but in a nutshell, that's what Drip is. So if you like passive income, you will like Drip.
Right.
You're in the right place to learn. Stay tuned. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, are you able to share your screen? If not, I got some tabs pulled up here for us. But if you're able to share your screen, I'll go ahead and let you briefly kind of, go into your Change 360 and kind of, because I'm going to ask some questions as well. I have some questions myself because I only
Yeah,
know about what I've read. So it'd be
right.
nice to
Yeah, I'd
hear
let you
from.
do it because I actually pulled this up on my phone because
Yep, no
the
problem.
camera's better on the
No
phone.
problem. No problem. So let's see what we got here.
I always forget, man. Not everybody tunes into every video. Not everybody's in drip. It's so you get so into your own ecosystem and
Yeah,
thoughts that
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, man, talk to us about Change 360, man. And real quick before you do, shout out to NZ. She's super dope. I'm looking forward to your live stream with Space Chick. Appreciate you tuning in, NZ. She's super dope. Love her energy. But yeah, let's talk about Change 360 because we know fitness is important. Health is definitely important. And without health,
Right,
you can't have wealth. And so kind of talk
for sure.
to us how all of this came above.
Yeah, so this idea of change 360, I guess I have to rewind a bit. So as we were talking originally, mentioned I have a martial arts background. I come from the military side. I was a physical training leader there. Um, did fitness kind of as most youth Americans growing up, all the different sports that I tried out. So fitness has always been a part of my life. And then so that was something I always did. And then coming out here to Cambodia, trying to escape the 9 to 5 rat race. So about 7 years ago, I moved out here. And moving out here really taught me one about fitness because the people here have a more healthy, more active lifestyle, so to speak. And you see it as a culture, so it's baked in. So that was fascinating from that side. But also the mental aspect of it came together and the financial side because you see like poverty at first hand in your face. And then also what I mean by mental is as I was building my entrepreneurial journey, of course, leaving the US and like trying to build something from scratch in a country you don't even speak the language, you go through a lot of mental hurdles,
Yeah.
mental toughness and resilience you have to overcome. And doing that started me digging down the rabbit hole of like other people to digest content from, like motivational speakers like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, all these different people. And basically all of them tell you the same thing. It's basically about the thoughts you tell yourself and the words and actions and stuff you have with yourself as well as the people around you. So that mental wellness, mental toughness, mental fortitude piece came in. And that was also the kind of the blending together piece that got me to realize that the kids out here or the people that struggle in poverty basically only are in those situations due to a lack of either access to information or resources or just opportunities, so to speak. So like you could have the next Elon Musk, Madame Curie, Bill Gates, whatever, living on these streets. But since no one's told them that they have this potential, no one's given them the words to help them unlock that, then they don't move forward in that. And then it just perpetuates. So they tell their children the same thing. It's like, you're never going to amount to much. You're going to have to be selling shoes on the street, whatever. That's the cycle they see. And there's tons of statistics that talk about this, that like your zip code is one of the leading indicators of your future value because it's the access to resources. And basically putting all that together, Change 360 comes together because I was trying to figure out a way. It's like, well, how can I, as a person that likes to distribute information and realizes that your mental and physical well-being is going to dictate pretty much all areas of your life, whatever access or opportunities you take, what you decide to do, who you decide to influence, who you're going to become. I was like, well, how do I blend that into a platform? Because even though I teach fitness, I tell everybody that I actually am trying to teach you mindset development. Like I use strength training as a tool, just like martial arts. People go to martial arts. It's like, yeah, maybe they're getting bullied and they want to learn to defend themselves, but you learn self-discipline. You learn all the traits of that mental fortitude that you need to overcome everything else outside of fitness. So I was like, how do I bring that to people? And I started different things out here, collaborating with different coaches in different areas. And it really kicked in during COVID when my physical gym that I built got shut down. So it's like, here's a time and space when the government has made exercising illegal, for lack of a better word. And I was like, dang, Now that really kicks into your physical and mental wellness because people use the gym and physical activity to actually feel good, release endorphins, stay in shape, all this stuff. And when you take that away, that just spirals down that mental wellness side. So it's like there's clearly a second epidemic coming, is what I called it, from the mental wellness side. So I tried to work with some coaches doing a different thing. I had a different name and everything like that, using live coaching and real people from all over the globe to blend these different areas of wellness. But this is before I had an audience like I have on YouTube. So it kind of trickled out because people will only work for free for so long until they get paid. And we couldn't get it to get any headway. So I kind of put it on the back burner. This is in the peak of the pandemic. And then with crypto and running into that, it kind of everything bridged together. I was now able to have a global payment system and a platform to reach people of different countries. And then I picked it back up and it just kind of was slowly building an idea and a momentum. So I started kicking it off last year, but it really came to fruition now with Change 360 in its current form when AI pretty much came on scene in November, because with AI, I now have the ability to outsource all those different moving pieces of wellness that I was trying to get from other coaches. I can outsource to AI. So that's kind of the entire backstory of, why I'm doing this now with this and what the opportunities are. Because with AI, crypto, and health and fitness, you're at the intersection of three massively moving forward adoption curves that they're just a huge tailwind. Like it's not going down. One of my mentors says you can't unwind technology. We're not going to go back to sticks and stones and sending letters by carrier pigeon. We only go forward. So with that being said, these three rails will always advance and be here in some shape or form. And I just want to be at the intersection of that to capitalize somehow.
Okay, well said. And it makes a lot of sense because fitness and wealth does impact our life a lot, right? Whether you're active or whether you're not active, it impacts your life. Your mood, how you move every day, your sentiment in life, your confidence level, all of that, your belief, like all of that is impacted, man. So I think it's big to see this being integrated, and with AI, it definitely makes things, I would say, not more doable, but more possible, right? Certain things that may have taken a longer time to do, you can kind of cut that time frame down and get it done a lot faster. And so,
for sure.
So when we look at the transform wellness into wealth, weekly accountability coaching is what people are going to be able to get. Cryptocurrency rewards in the form of stable coins, I believe. We're going to talk about that. Also designed to help you reach your goals. And that's where kind of the accountability coaching comes in. Can't even talk right now. So let's kind of get into the features, man. You got set your goals. You got a fitness plan and diet, which pretty much everyone's looking for the most part. Rather you're bulking, rather you're cutting, maintaining your weight, whatever it is, most people are looking for a proper diet that they like, that they can eat for a long time. You know what I mean? Because that's the most important thing. Then you have available worldwide, personalized adjustments, earn rewards, and then feedback matters. So kind of dissect this a little bit for us, Drip Coach. Kind of like what can people expect with all of this? Like we're reading this on the screen, but break it down to us as an investor standpoint. Like what can people expect if they're wanting to get into Change 360?
Well, that's two different pathways, so we'll have to see how you want to dive into that with those questions. I don't want to just go on the monologue. So the investor side, as someone investing in the platform for right now, since it's not launched yet, meaning getting an early venture capitalist crowdfunding side, that's one path. And then the actual client side, when it's launched, is another investment path. An investment meaning in yourself and the physical, mental, financial development. So which of those, I think if we're on the website now, I guess we'll focus on the client side and then we can circle back because you don't have the sidekick up right now. So we'll stick with that. So from the client side, like you see on the screen, so setting your goals, that's the very first thing I, as a coach, tell people they need to do. So it's ironic. Everybody basically wants to look and feel their best. And there's no question about that. But the funny thing is most people don't actually set a goal to understand what direction and modality and path they need to utilize to get there. It's like if you were to ask someone what their goal were and they were to say, I want to win an Olympic medal, it's like, cool, that's an aspirational goal. Great. Which Olympics, summer or winter? Cool. Summer. Which sport? track and field, swimming, you got to get super granular, because what'll happen is if you don't know the goal in mind and you don't know the path you need to take, and then you're just doing a whole lot of nothing. So the very first thing to do is set a actual goal. Like if you mentioned martial arts training is going to be very different than someone that just wants to build their physique. They're going to train very differently. They're going to eat very differently. They're going to recover very differently. So that's going to be the first thing that helps people get started, is them identifying, because they've probably never even done that. They just copy paste whatever they've seen other people doing, and they think, well, that'll work for me, even though their goals are completely different. So the AI will help you set your goal by you answering a couple questions, and then from that, it's going to basically give you a specific fitness plan and diet based off of your goals, your needs, your lifestyle, and these types of things. So again, going to the different analogies, like I have out here, a lot of people like to run. Like there's some people that just want to be a runner. It's like, okay, if you want to be a runner, well then strength training isn't going to be how you're going to define your training modality, even though building muscle is great for everybody. If your goal is just to be able to run consistent marathons, then I have to give you a very different training program. And of course, the nutrition will be different as well. Available worldwide. That makes perfect sense, because this is a global platform. Anybody with a smartphone or internet access will be able to access it. And of course, with crypto being a kind of global currency, the way it's going to work is it will be available in multi-chain, cross-chain functionality. So any non-tax cryptocurrency, so as long as there's no buy and sell tax, you'll be able to use it. So focusing primarily on the blue chips, on native chains. So you got Matic, you got FTM, whatever. You can use that to purchase the plans, as well as, of course, stable coins and, BNB, ETH, or whatever the case may be. And then the personalized adjustment side is basically what I do as a coach. This is what you pay for if you've never had a personal trainer, or if you get coaching in general at all. They give you a template, but you have to actually go and execute on it. You have to do it and then come back and let the coach know what worked, what didn't work, what your new goals are, what hurdles are coming up for next week, or whatever the case may be, so you get these micro adjustments, because it's not a one and done. It's not just a 30-day bulletproof abs program. It's like, that's not the way it actually works. You have to continue to tweak these things and get adjustments specific to you. And that's where AI can really help, because again, I mentioned this on stream with someone else. There's nothing out there like this currently. And what I mean is, I'm a personal trainer, and my wheelhouse is pretty much general fitness, strength training, fat loss, like general modalities, right? But we know there's other stuff like yoga, Pilates, meditation, Ayurvedic nutrition, whatever. Now, if you might come to me and you're like, all right, I want a strength training program, I want to put on some additional mass or muscle, and we get you set up, but somewhere in there, you have a death in the family, you have a relationship issue with your girlfriend, or whatever the case may be. I'm not qualified to help you in that regard. You still have the same goal. You still want to get stronger and bigger, but the tools of Mike, suck it up, go lift more weight isn't exactly going to be helpful. You need something to help you get over that hurdle to get you back on track. That's what happens. People fall off. Well, the personalized adjustments with AI allow an AI to actually give you feedback from a relationship sort of perspective, from a grievance perspective, whatever. AI can actually give you feedback on these different areas and give you the tools you need to take that, to get back on track and focus on the original plan at hand. So that's, to me, the biggest thing, is because in fitness, for some odd reason, each coach thinks that they are the end all be all, and they don't focus on what I believe, which is collaboration over competition. Meaning, look at fitness as the way your health provider network looks at it. If you go to your doctor and he's like, oh, there's something wrong, I think we need to do a brain scan or whatever, he doesn't crack your skull open immediately as a general practitioner. He sends you to a specialist, right? And we have that in every other area. If you're building a house, your guy who does your foundation isn't the same one that runs your plumbing and electricity. They're specialists. For some odd reason, though, in fitness, we don't look at it that way. The body is multifaceted, and we pigeonholed ourselves in regards to the information we get, as well as with these experts, because they want to pretend that they have all the answers, and we know they don't, because it doesn't apply anywhere else. So again, that to me is just a big gap in the market and opportunity that AI can fill, because you don't need 30 different wellness coaches. You can have one.
Well said. Well said. Before we get to the earn rewards part, so basically, what you're saying on the personal adjustment side, this is not just for gaining, losing, or maintaining weight. This is for when life happens, how to
Correct, correct.
adjust yourself,
Right.
which I think makes sense because life does happen. It doesn't matter if you're
Exactly.
3 months into the journey, 6 months, a year, something will happen. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
I think that's key, man. I think that's key.
Yeah, it's to I guess kind of rephrase that or explain it. It's like I know on the outside, most people come to a program like this or to myself to tackle what they see in the mirror. They want to look and feel a certain way, but generally, like I said, what I teach is mindset because even though what they see in the mirror they want to change, the reason they got there is due to something mental. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the motivation. They don't have the proper workout plan. They don't have the nutrition. They don't have that, whatever it is. So something else is actually missing. So in coaching, we tell them we have to give them what they need disguised as what they want. We got to make it look like, oh, that's exactly what I want. I want the 6-week plan. I want the shortcut. It's like, cool. I'm gonna put this in front of you, but in reality, I have to actually give you the thing you really need, which is, a plan, discipline, longevity, all these different areas of the training program. But on the surface, this is definitely it's going to look like it's your fitness and nutrition plan for your physique goals for most people. But they'll start to understand that there's a lot more to it. And in the beginning, that is what we're going to roll out. We're actually starting with just the nutrition plan first, because that's the easiest barrier to entry to give people and get feedback and improve the AI before we roll out all these other areas within it. But they can roll out on day one. It's just that you don't want to have that many problems trying to get different feedback from different people, and you don't know what's fine-tuned and what's not regarding AI.
Yeah, yeah. So now talk to us about what I know a lot of people want to hear about, the money, earning rewards. And before you get going, just a little bit of what I read in the back end is the earn rewards, I guess, kind of a pillar to the ecosystem that kind of rewards people through the system for, I guess, being healthy, wanting to be more fitness active, wanting to be more healthy, kind of a way to keep them utilizing the platform. It's kind of an incentive in a sense.
Correct. So again, as a physical trainer, I see all the time people, like I said, fall off because of different things. Life happens, or you met your goal. So somebody sits up and says, okay, I got this event coming up in 8 weeks and I want to look a certain way. So they get there, and at the event, it's like, okay, now what? Nobody comes and says, and I make this joke with my clients, all right, I'm signing up with you and I can't wait to do this for the rest of my life. That's not the hook. It's not, do this every day until you die, and that's all you got to do to have the body you want. Nobody signs up for that. So you have to find something else to incentivize people from the physical coaching side as well as online and keep them motivated. So that's why you have in applications like Fitbit and MyFitnessPal, you get this gamification where you see points you've earned, your streak is there, you have leaderboards. So they've already found ways to do this, but that's the Web 2 model. Now with Web 3, we can actually say, okay, those points you earned, that streak you got, those workouts you completed, the weight you lifted, the run you did, all generate some form of point value for consistency and stuff. So we can then convert those points into stable coins due to, again, the model. So AI and blockchain remove so much or increase the margin so much. Like I had a physical gym, there's so much overhead for a physical gym. If I'm in person, there's overhead for my hours of physical time I'm spending. If I have multiple coaches to cover these things, I got to cover their salaries. Well, if you have one employee that's AI and he covers all that, and then your overhead is only the hosting of the platform, well, all that additional revenue can now go back to your clients versus going to pay bills to keep the lights on and pay salaries, things of that nature. So the way we're going to set it up initially is, instead of launching a token on the platform, we're just going to have points. Again, traditional Web 2 model like Fitbit and Garmin and Nike Plus and all the stuff that you see whenever you do any of these current programs. And then over time, I'm going to have a way that those points are actually allocated towards a stable coin that you can actually, I'm not a stable coin, sorry, that'll actually be a token itself that will be governance. But before that, those points are going to be what you can put into a pool of lucky draw rewards. So you can get those out immediately. So you'll be able to basically use those points as tickets into a drawing that the more you do positive behavior, doing your nutrition, doing your workout, providing feedback, that next one, because that matters for AI. All this stuff is positive actions, and you'll be rewarded a certain number of points for each of those actions. And those points or tickets is what you'll be able to use initially into a drawing. So you're not guaranteed to win, but the more of that behavior you have and the more that you put in, of course, the more your odds can and will be. And then later, those points will actually become a token that is exchangeable for monetary value once we have revenue locked in and we have analyzed the behavior on the platform.
Okay. Before we get to the providing feedback, couple of things I want to talk. This question I will get to. Well, not question, but talk about that here in a second. We got a question here talking about the Reservoir payback structure. We'll get to that here in a minute. And we got a few people coming in as well. We got Thunderbolts, probably from the boat community, super strong community. What's up, people? And then we had Ian that said, what's up as well. So briefly talking about the feedback, because it's important, because if you don't tell AI what's wrong or what's working, how does it know what is working and what's not, right? And so within that self is pretty self-explanatory, but is there a certain metric or is there a certain behavior people will have to do on the regular for this to be implemented, or how would that work in the Change 360 ecosystem?
Yeah, it's no different than, like I said, as a physical coach. So you would have a check-in with me and I'd be like, all right, what worked well? How many meals did you eat? How many did you prep yourself? How was your workouts? What was your energy level? So just simple back and forth questions, kind of just filling out a questionnaire. And from that, it will automatically give you some feedback and adjustments, same way that I would. But in addition to that, it's to me, again, kind of in the name itself, Change 360, it's also my goal to try to change the current DeFi space and the way crypto is viewed as a speculative asset, and it's viewed as a something that you can't be critical of. So with the platform I'm building, I want to take those pieces that are in Web 2. So traditionally in Web 2, when you buy a product or service, if you're not happy with it, then you get to provide feedback. You have to put stars up to indicate how well this product helped you, and that gives other people feedback. And with AI, that is crucial. So we want to also document and get feedback on the platform, the UI, the layout, the user experience in regards to how you're navigating it, what you'd like to see, so that we can improve the platform, in addition to the feedback you're giving specific to the meal plans and exercise that you got. So there's two areas of feedback that we're going to be rewarding in those points for the improvement of the platform and the improvement of the actual information that it's giving you. And that's so that I can build this long-term roadmap that I have out for this. So this first initial MVP is very simple, just nutrition, exercise plans, recipes, and all that stuff. But I have a very, very robust roadmap. And in order to do that, I need to scale with more information from people, as well as improving the AI experience itself, like fine-tuning it, they call it, so that it can give you better recommendations on these different areas that you run into in your fitness journey. So feedback is huge, and I think that's currently missing from definitely the DeFi space. They're kind of set in stone, because most of it, if it's in DeFi, it's just a speculative asset, so you can't change it too much. And even if you do, you're at risk of kind of wrecking the tokenomics. But if you're providing a service that is meant to be improved and changed and adapt with more people that come, as well as with your fitness journey, how you're training right now is going to be very different how you train when you're 60 or 70. Then you're actually incentivizing people to realize that this is a lifelong thing. It's not a one and done. It's not I put this asset in and I come back and check on it in 10 years. This asset being your health and wellness, it's not something you can just check off the box one time at the gym on the treadmill. You realize you got to do this every day. And I want people on the platform to have that same experience. It's like the more you work on yourself and the more you improve and accept critical feedback for yourself, just like if you were doing an exercise, you're like, okay, that was poor. How can I improve it and get better? I didn't lift that weight today. I want to lift it tomorrow. We accept failure in all other areas, but there's no room for it currently, in my opinion, in DeFi. So I want to change the platform and change the way people view what crypto actually is meant to be, in my opinion.
Well said, well said. And as you guys can see, super easy setup process, how it works. Step one, of course, you're going to tell, the platform of the AI platform about yourself, height, weight, age, all of that, of course. You got your step 2, your welcome response, and then you got your step 3, your dietary preference, right? So it's customizing itself based off of the information that you give it. So I think that's going to be big as well, utilizing AI in fitness. I think that's huge, man. And then of course we got the roadmap, which you briefly kind of just touched on. A lot coming out in phase 1. You got additional nutritional plans and options, habit and lifestyle coaching, accountability and motivation, meal plan and grocery list. That's the grocery list is interesting because that can help people as well, what to buy and what
Mhm.
not to buy. So I
Right.
can see how that can be important as well. Discord, exercise tracking. That's pretty cool. Then you got a 6 to 12 months after launch as well. Implement point tracking and usage. And I before we get to the sidekick part, which is like the investing side, is it safe to
Mhm.
say that Change 360 is a fitness platform first before, I guess, a income platform, a money platform, if you know what I mean, like paying out people?
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely. That's not only safe to say, that's exactly how I would classify it. I don't want people. I want the investment that people are making and what they expect to get is an investment in self. It's the return on investment in regards to building your physical, mental wellness, and then as a sidekick, no pun intended for the crowdfunding, you get this other stuff on the back end. But you're not looking for that as the reason you're getting in. You're getting in because you want to improve your physical, mental wellness, and then you just get lucky and happen to get rewarded for doing positive behavior. I want this to be the more you use this and level up yourself in real life, then the more you level up in this platform, the more you level up in real life because these are actual real things you're doing. And because you're focusing on adding value to yourself and improving your skill set, that means you're going to be adding value to your community if you're in person. People who exercise and eat right have better clarity, better relationships. Everything is better around them. And then that affects their immediate relationships. And then that affects your people at work, all this stuff. So it's like when that happens, now you raise, or like I like to say, make the pie bigger instead of trying to take a single piece. Goes back to what I was talking about with the poverty side. There's a striking statistic. So 60% of the world are considered impoverished, meaning they make less than $10 a day. So they also suffer from malnutrition. By 2025, 40% of the world is going to be obese at some stage, to some degree of obesity. So you got half the world eating themselves to death and half the world not having enough to eat. How is that the same? How do we have that problem on both sides where we're currently at right now in regards to information? So that's the piece I want to solve. And to me, I can solve that by making it affordable, making it customizable, personalized, and globally accessible. And if you do that, well, now these 60% that didn't have access to stuff like this can start to level up. And if they level up, then they improve their overall livelihood. They become a better functioning member to society. They're contributing more to that GDP. Then everybody's making more money. And then now the pie is much, much bigger than it currently is of people trying to just take another piece of the exact same slice. So I have a much bigger vision in mind to me of what crypto is meant to be, specifically DeFi. And I believe tackling the root cause and selling a product and service, not selling financial hopes and dreams, is the solution.
I definitely think a solution, big solution and a problem. Hey, gotta stay hydrated, man.
For sure, for sure.
So before we get into the sidekick, the investing part, to kind of just break it down for people that's been on the stream so far, the platform side, Change 360, is for people that want to be better in fitness, that want help with maybe their diet, want to just be better all around with wellness. But by doing so, they will be rewarded with certain points that they can be used later on with stable coin rewards. Is that kind
Correct.
of in a nutshell safe to kind of
Yep.
say? Okay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yep.
Okay. So now as we get into the sidekick option, go ahead and have you break down how do people get involved, and of course not financial advice, but I guess not what's the upside, but what can kind of people expect potentially could happen if they got involved on the investing side with Change 360.
Cool. Yeah, so the investing side is the crowdfunding model. Like if you're familiar with GoFundMe,
Yep.
Kickstarter, or any venture capitalist kind of stuff that they usually get deals for, you're investing in basically in my vision and my ability to execute on the platform and the roadmap that I want to deliver. So on the Sidekick side, there's 3 different tiers, and the simplest or TLDR of that investment is that each tier will actually pay you out a portion of the crowdfunding reward wallet that we have. So you don't have that up right now, but basically there's different tiers, and each one is given an allocation from that reward wallet. So you're investing in the growth of the platform, and of course, the more the platform grows and more revenue we bring in, then the more you're going to receive in that. That's why kind of we touched on before. Yeah, I want this to be a focus on the investment itself, and then secondly, a financial vehicle, so to speak. So I do plan on delivering on this roadmap long term, but the initial is just to help us pad the runway. So even if the crowdfunding doesn't go through, like I think it expires now in like 12 days. So we have to make that $10,000 goal. So 80% of the 12,500 is the goal. If that doesn't happen by day 12 from now, what happens is everybody just gets refunded. So this is, again, the way I'm looking at this is I'm not trying to just get people to invest or speculative assets, things of that nature. So that's why I use crowdfunding, this model, blockchain DeFi, to do it versus just getting people to donate money and then wondering what happened to it as we try to scale. So regardless of whether or not the project meets the goal, we're still building the platform side, and we're still going to execute on the roadmap. It'd just be slower because the client model, right? The client side will be basically as they come in and buy plans, we're going to kind of nickel and dime our way towards building the revenue for the platform. So the investment side is just being able to help speed that up and then get access to the crowdfunding rewards. Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like Pioneer is doing, what's that, 5% of crowdfunding wallet for the first 12 months. Trailblazer, which is the second tier, looks like it says 15% crowdfunding wallet for the first 18 months, so year and a half. And then you got the Game Changer, which is 30% of the crowdfunding for 24 months, so 2 years. So it looks like it's not a huge supply of these NFTs either. It looks like Pioneer's 200 NFTs, Trailblazer is 100, and then Game Changer is 50. Will that always be the total supply for this project here, or will there be a second collection if it makes sense down the road to share more of the crowdfunding, or is it just kind of the people who got in that believed in your vision will take advantage of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Haven't actually looked at doing something later on in the future. There will be other NFTs for sure, because on the roadmap I have this NFT battle card game that I want to do in regards to health and fitness. And there's also the TaskHuman integration that's a little further down the line. TaskHuman is a holistic wellness company. So it's exactly what I'm trying to do, but it has real people, and they do real one-on-one coaching in these multiple different areas of wellness. And that's a subscription. So in order to work with them, because they're Web2 focused, I have to actually pay up front for 1 year's worth of access per client. So that'll be an NFT. But in regards to the crowdfunding side, yeah, I think this is kind of a one and done to this initial, but then there will be other NFT options as we roll out. But this will be the only one to actually invest in the platform and get a percentage of the revenue.
Okay. So that's what, 350 then total? 350 NFTs total?
Right. Yep.
Okay. Cool, man. So, man, I'm looking forward to see how all of this plans out, man, because I'm big into fitness, I'm big into health, and the fact that you said affordable, because when you think about certain apps like MyFitnessPal or certain apps you can download now to help you with your macros and everything, sometimes people don't want to pay that monthly or yearly subscription, right? Where it may cost you $50-$60 for the year to pay for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so to see how this all unfolds would be very exciting for the space as well, because I mean, this is still considered DeFi as well. Right. It's
exactly
still considered DeFi, but just fitness and health being integrated. So I think it's very important. And I think you're, on to something, Drip Coach. I definitely think it's a need for sure moving forward.
Right. Appreciate that.
I don't have any other questions regarding Change 360. I am going to get to the live chat just to answer any questions we may have. Do anybody got any questions as well for Drip Coach on anything he may have covered, anything he may have said, or anything I may have said in today's live? We got MSC Braces. He says, my question is about the reservoir with drip. Can you guys talk about the payback structure when you put in your BNB? Okay.
Yeah.
If you want,
you go back to that side. Yeah, go back to that sidekick because there's an image on there that breaks out there where the support is going. It's in the middle somewhere, a little circle icon, and it shows the revenue distribution. Yep, exactly.
So I'll blow it up a little bit.
So it'd be easier to just point that out. Boom. So his question specifically said,
pull it back up for you,
is about the reservoir with drip. Can you guys talk about the payback structure when you put in your BNB? Yeah, so I'll touch the reservoir specifically, then the other side as well. So basically, it's just going to be as people pay. So this will also be in fiat. So and that's going to probably be our primary revenue model initially, is marketing to normies, as you would call it, globally, to pay with fiat, due to, again, the small nature that are in crypto. And most people in crypto are not here for the health and fitness side. They're here for the speculative asset side. So what will happen is any plan that's purchased, 20% of that will basically be converted to BNB. So even if it comes through fiat and then we have to convert it to BNB, we'll convert that and then deposit into the reservoir. And I'm talking with the team because I want to have it a little bit different than what most people do for the reservoir. So I want to have the smart contract itself, so that it will be immutable. It's not going to be a wallet, it'll just be a contract that deposits in there. But I want to have it to where it's going to also basically unstake and restake randomly. And I don't know how feasible that'll be in regards to duration, 1 week, 2 week, 3 week. And the reason for that is, if you are familiar with the reservoir, whenever someone gets in or gets out, there's a fee or a tax. And because of that tax, we actually end up locking the drip and the liquidity. And it also kicks rewards to people in the reservoir. So I want to have an incentive for people outside of the community to get into the reservoir and kind of stay, and having hopefully what'll be a large amount of reservoir tokens being staked and unstaked, kicking those rewards will make it look a little more attractive. But the simple answer would be, it'll be a contract, smart contract, and it's just gonna be 20% of the total platform revenue that comes into the platform.
Okay. And for the people that's wondering, I'm gonna briefly just break this down. So when it comes to the distribution, you got 20% for the reservoir, 10% for the animal farm treasury, 20% for the drip tax vault. So I guess this will be sending drip back to the tax vault, of course, which will help lower that supply. You got the crowdfunding wallet. So based off of the crowdfunding wallet, so this will be an ongoing thing then, Drip Coach, right? So that means the crowdfunding wallet will always get more income put into it to distribute to the NFT holders. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, what'll happen with that later, once this is kicked off and all these initial NFTs have been paid out, that crowdfunding wallet actually becomes a community crowdfunding wallet. So if I wanted to talk to the Volt community or the Shiba Inu community and they were using the platform, they would be able to, with these points that I mentioned before, vote on where this distribution would go. So that 10% is going to go to the loudest community with the most votes. And that's where kind of a little bit of the game theory comes in, because community leaders will be able to say, hey, this is coming up, save your points. Let's all go in hard on the vote for, our project or whatever. And that'll be probably like a monthly kind of payout thing.
Okay. Awesome. You got the lucky draw and referral rewards. It's basically give you a way to earn a little bit more, which you kind of talked about earlier, the 5% of the developer's fee. And then you got the marketing and the roadmap development, which is 10%, which leads us to the next community question. They kind of want you, I guess, to break down the roadmap a little bit more, actually, on, I guess, what's all coming with it. So I'm not sure if they had a specific question, but the question was just, can you kind of break down the roadmap a little bit more? I guess, like, what can people expect first, or I guess what the first 6 or whatever you can put out that you feel comfortable releasing, I guess, regarding the roadmap.
Yeah. So the platform itself should launch within probably the next, definitely less than 6 weeks. I don't have a firm launch date on that yet, but I'm definitely pushing for the next 6 weeks. And what'll be there when it launches on day one is what we're calling our MVP, minimal viable product. So that's what you saw on that same first page when you scroll up, is how a person will basically be able to come in and put in their data and get a personalized nutrition plan. That will be what we're selling initially, and that's going to work, no issues. And then on day one also, they'll be able to provide feedback on that plan. Then for return users, in that exact same time frame, that same week, is upgrades, so to speak, to make it from a 1-day plan to a 3-day or 5-day, as well as feedback into tweaking things that may not have worked well or what they want to adjust. And then within that 6 months on the roadmap is where we'll have these other pieces. And again, as I mentioned, anybody that knows anything about AI, that can be done literally right now. But what I want to have done, I told my team, is basically these different pieces, like the accountability coaching, the habits and lifestyle. I want this kind of every 2 weeks or so that we can actually get data and feedback from users and find out what they're doing and what areas of the platform they want a different exposure to. So these can be rolled out quicker or slower depending on the amount of traffic coming into the platform, but it doesn't require anything from us other than having a new question put up on the user side, because AI has all the information already stored in it. It just depends on how you phrase the question. So we're just going to have it basically gated, so to speak, in the beginning, so that it's not just an interaction with ChatGPT where it's just random topics. It's focused on a specific topic. But all this stuff will be within the first 6 months in different pieces every 2 weeks or so. So the accountability side will be able to kick out actual Telegram or email messages to remind you about your program or about a goal you set or whatever, or even a reminder if you set it that you want to work out on a certain day or time. This stuff will come out. Then the motivation, different kind of quotes or whatever that you want to have. The meal plan and grocery list, this will be something specific to the US because it's not available anywhere else. But Instacart is a plugin that already works or is in the process of working. And basically it'll take the plan that the AI creates and send it over to Instacart if you connect it, and then it'll actually deliver your groceries as well. So we'll give you the grocery list, but you can actually get them delivered on the platform. And lastly, within the first 6 months is the 𝗫𝗏𝗏 fitness tracking. So there's a Discord bot that integrates with, I think 100+ different wearables, and there's a leaderboard and everything already built in, and they track your exercise with these different wearables and give you a gamification experience where you actually get points and stuff like that based off of what you're doing. I want to integrate that. That's kind of where the NFTs would come in for the initial, but also different NFTs that we'd have to sell because it's got to be token gated with their Discord bot. And that leaderboard would also be points that we're going to allocate. So I'm making, the way my brain is working for building this out, I'm taking the pieces of the different things that are already working in the space, and I'm just bridging them together. So I'm not trying to create the wheel all over again. I just want to take what's already there. And yeah, it'll be fragmented, like you'll have to join the Discord or whatever. But what that does is give me feedback for what people like and dislike and how it works, so that long term, I can make an all-in-one app later once the revenue and the team is built out and I'm seeing what people are accessing and how they utilize it, versus me trying to build everything at the beginning and just drag this project out.
Got it. So in the first 6 months, that's, what you can expect. And I mean, getting too far ahead of ourselves, like what's going to happen in the next 12 months. Well, first we got to get to the first 6 months, so, I get why you don't want to, put out too much. I do want to ask about this though, Drip Coach, the Tax Human NFT upgrade option. Is this available for talk, or are you still kind of waiting for more information on this?
Oh, no, that's 100% available. I work with the company, part of their 1, coaching client side, and 2, hiring side. So I've been with them now about 2 years, and you can look them up. But basically, like I mentioned before, they're a holistic wellness company that does one-on-one wellness, and they basically incorporate with big Fortune 500 companies and give it away as a wellness program. So it's available to the public, but if you were to install it yourself, it's going to cost you $1 a minute to talk to a mental wellness coach, a psychologist, a relationship coach, a dog coach, spiritual wellness coach, whatever. They have coaches and everything 24/7 all over the globe, thousands of different coaches, thousands of different areas of wellness, but it's going to cost $1 a minute to do so. I pitched to them the idea of using blockchain and NFTs, and basically I'm building a company, and each person that buys this NFT is essentially an employee in the company, and they would get access to this platform. So that's 100% coming, but I could roll that out again right now, but I need to have a certain, because it's expensive, you can imagine, I need to have a certain amount of users that are interested in this at the price point that it will be advertised before I even put it out, because I don't want it to come out and then just flop. So I'm saving this one as something that I can roll out at any time. Could be in phase 1, could be phase 3, but it's available right now in the crowdfunding side if we were to get 50% or 100% totally funded. So that 350 total NFTs, if we got 175, those people would get access to this. So that's 100% coming. That's building right on top of the AI idea, just giving you one-on-one with real people.
Well said. Well said. And the last thing I want to touch on with the roadmap, which of course we're 2+ years after launch, but to be honest, one of the most excited things I was about when I saw the in real life gym membership, in real life wellness conferences, and then true proof of work blockchain, right? So this sounds like, if it makes sense, there could be Change 360 basically can have its own blockchain, is what I'm getting from that potentially.
Yeah, for sure. I know there's some back and forth on whether or not we need more blockchains, but to me, this goes back to, this wraps everything up, so it's a great place to end it, is the idea that I mentioned before about the poverty and stuff like that, and then the lack of opportunities in your zip code basically being an indicator of your future potential. So the true proof of work blockchain in my head is where each person in the world can be a validator or a miner on the network via their physical exertion and energy, basically. So Fitbit tracker basically tracks your heart rate, your steps, your energy exertion, right? It's like, well, why can't we use that technology? I don't know how that works. So anybody that has more in knowledge on this and wants to shoot my idea down, I don't want to hear it, because I'm going to find a way to make it work. If Elon can, populate Mars, I can figure this out as well. So the idea would be that somehow being able to get this Fitbit tracker, whatever it happens to be later on, to the people in a way that all they need is a smartphone and this, and it can even be given to people as kind of a free, and you earn it back, like you pay us back for it. So it can reach people in poverty in different locations, and then they just pay back as they mine. We would get a percentage of that mining. So the true proof of work blockchain is to give everyone access to a truly decentralized token that is mined off of your physical sweat equity. So the kid that I see selling coconuts on the street, walking up and down the street, now is actually able to pull himself up by the bootstraps, so to speak, because his physical work every day is securing the network and eventually providing a future that he might be able to do for himself. So that's my vision. That's my empower the impoverished side that I have from the YouTube channel that I made. I was like, this is actually the long-term vision. And I just got to do all these other steps in there first to get proof of concept. So hence the 𝗷𝗏𝗏 Fitness allows me to see, are people exercising? How many points are they earning? What's sustainable? What type of activity are they doing? So all these pieces build on top of one another. And then hopefully that will be the end all be all goal. I have no idea how many years out that would be, but the way technology is going, I really don't see why this can't work. I don't know how, but like they say, if you have a strong enough why, the how will come.
Well said. Well said. There's that motivation coming from Drip Coach. So yeah, once again, though, I do have all of the links down in the description. His YouTube channel, Change 360, the Sidekick crowdfunding page as well. So definitely check those out if you're interested. Drip Coach, I do want to say thanks for coming on, man. I know it took a little bit for us to get it together this week, but we got it together, man.
Man, I appreciate it. Definitely. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, I check your channel out all the time. So being on it, it's an honor, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's up, fam? 𝗔𝗏𝗔𝗕. We got Drip to Wealth, always showing love. What up, MTI and Coach, here to support the Change 360 movement. Yeah, I think it's big, man. I think just fitness within itself, just taking the money aspect out of it. Fitness and health is so important. You know, you can't enjoy your money if you don't have health. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
it's so important, man. So I definitely think it's a problem to help solve in this world for sure. For
And there's
sure.
a small caveat to that. You see it all. I'm gonna say all the time, but it's enough to be alarming. Where you have millionaires and billionaires taking their lives. So clearly, it's not a money thing, and it's not even necessarily a physical wellness thing. There's a mental aspect that's just not being touched on globally. And if you can have all the money in the world and you still have no purpose, then that's rough. So it's like we
Yeah.
got to tackle this holistic thing. You can't just tackle one piece.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it does start with the mental because it all goes back into what's important to that individual, right? What's important? Why are you doing this? Why are you wanting to be healthier? You know what I mean? What
Right,
triggers
right.
you? You know what I mean? So I agree wholeheartedly, man, 100%.
For sure, for sure.
Well, man, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I think we got up to a max of about 26 people. Not a ton, but I definitely appreciate everyone giving us our undivided attention. It is much appreciated. Again, the playback will be available here in a little bit. Drip Coach, any last words before we get out of here tonight?
Nah, that's it from my side. You guys who follow me know my mantra: lift daily and achieve your impossible. That's all I got.
Got a quick question for you, and you kind of touched on this from Prospect real quick. He says, we are in a bear market. If your project does not get fully funded by the end of the month, will you try to relaunch the funding campaign again later in year of 2024?
No, there's no relaunch the funding. As I mentioned, I'm rolling this out regardless of the crowdfunding side. The crowdfunding just pads the runway. So that's again why I went with this a different way and why I put this in as it can fail, so to speak, meaning it doesn't meet that minimum and people get their money back because I want them to be secure that they're not just throwing money down the drain, for lack of a better word, on a hope and a dream. So it's like I'm going to prove that this will work and that I'm going to develop it regardless. The crowdfunding would just pad the runway, but we're already going to launch with the MVP, and that's exactly why I went with this model: something simple, small that I can actually monetize initially, and then just grow the revenue of the platform organically from there.
Yeah, so either way, Change 360 is coming. Rather it's faster or rather
Exactly.
it's a little bit later, it's coming.
Exactly. Exactly. That's 100%.
We got Drip to Wealth. He says mentoring and coaching is frequently used by the wealthy to level up. Coaches making it affordable. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, again, shout out to Drip Coach. You definitely are biting off a lot, tackling this industry, using AI, getting into the DeFi space and integrating it a little bit with crypto, a little bit digital assets. So
Yeah,
you
for
definitely
sure.
got an uphill battle, but if everything unfolds properly, I think you got a, pretty gold mine on your hand, man. So wishing you nothing but
Yeah.
success, bro.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
We appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate you guys, and we will catch you guys on